see you. You know what I love about this office? I love the energy, right? Yes. I love the energy. I love Keller Williams agents. I get to go into all kinds of real estate firms around the country, and they don't all have the pop you have. You understand what I'm telling you? So thank you. Thank you for that, all right? Now, how many people see me speak before in here? Okay, because I see a lot of familiar faces, and I see a lot of new faces. I spent, so you know who's coaching you for the next hour, I spent a decade as a high school women's basketball coach. And that's why you see this big gaudy ring on my right finger is from 19 to 31. I was at the second largest high school in Tennessee, and I became the head. There you go. Okay, I don't know if I can say that here in Alabama, but don't tell the Vols fans. I'm an Alabama fan sometimes. But from 19 to 31, I was at the second largest high school in Tennessee. And you're saying, what can a former women's basketball coach teach me about real estate? And as we got going, one of my real skill sets or special skill sets was inner engineering people to win. That means learning how to touch the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit of my players. And so I used a theory called the whole person theory, and I was teaching my players all kinds of interesting things. Like I was teaching 14 to 18-year-olds the 7 habits of highly effective people and the principles of good to great. So imagine your daughter playing for me, and she's learning all these other things besides just how to shoot a basketball. And so what happened was my players were more connected than other people's players. They were smarter than other people's players. And we began to win a lot. And when we begin to win, people would say, what are you doing with those kids? Because it is working. And you guys are winning. And I didn't have time to explain it. So I said, what if I just wrote a book on it, right? And I write a book called Changing Lives Through Coaching, because I believe a good coach can change your life. How many of you have ever had a good coach? Just look around the room. Okay? At some point in your life, you had a person, right, that would push you to have conversations you didn't want to have, make you do things you didn't want to do, help you become something you didn't think you could become. So I write this little book, and people started to call me. They said, will you come speak to our group? And I was like, sure, I'll come over and speak, and then I'll leave. And it was like State Farm and National Healthcare and Dell Computers. And I would go speak and then say, will you come back? We really, really enjoyed this. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to win a championship. I love coaching kids. And I remember speaking at Dell Computers, and I get done speaking, and they say, will you come back? I'm like, I'm not interested. Thank you for having me. Thank you for buying my book. And the guy said, okay, here's your check for speaking to our people. And I opened up the check, and it was more in an hour than I made in a whole month of coaching. And you know what I said then? I will be back every 15 minutes, all right? But it really kind of dawned on me. I'm like, man, I got a skill set that corporate America will pay a lot more money for. But I didn't retire. I kept coaching. And then finally I won that championship I've been looking for, and at 31 years old I retired. Now, this was 08. Remember what was happening in 08? If you were in real estate, what was happening in 08? Nothing. So I'm speaking at a local, like, you know, leadership, like you have Leadership Birmingham and Leadership Huntsville. I was speaking at a leadership Rutherford County in Tennessee, and the biggest home builder in Tennessee was in there. And he came up to me afterward and he said, I don't know what it is you got, but we need some of it bad. And he said, come to my office tomorrow. And I went to his office the next day, and I signed a $125,000 contract to coach his company. I had never been in the home building business. I'd never coached real estate agents, right? I'd never coached mortgage originators. But he said, we need some positive. We have gone from selling 40 houses a week to less than 4 a week. We've gone from building 777 homes a year to we're on track this year to do 200 homes. Their confidence was low, energy was low. I mean, it was a wreck. And I went in there and began to coach this big home builder, which meant I was coaching his agents. And I began to learn how to build a subdivision, how to market it, how to sell it, how to get people to houses. Where's the profit margins, right? Well, that got me the biggest home builder in North Carolina. So then I was going to North Carolina coaching that home builder. Then I started coaching lots of real estate teams. So I got those builders, I got 1 to 380 homes, 1 to 420 homes in a one-year cycle, and I began to get the attention of the real estate market, right? So these real estate companies begin to call me, Keller Williams, all kinds of agencies, you would know, Exit, Century 21, Weikerts of the world, and they said, we want you to coach all of our agents. So over the last 8 to 9 years, all I've been doing have been coaching really real estate, mortgage, insurance, anything where there's a very competitive field, and you're competing versus lots of people, and you're trying to create a separation. Everybody with me here? And how many people believe who's coaching you matters? Yes. Real estate agents that have a coach make 3 and 4 times the amount of money than agents that do not have a coach. And I can back that up with stats, okay? So what I'm going to do today is coach you in one very specific area so we can make you some more money, okay? And that area is in how you follow up, okay? So I'm going to start off today, and I wrote a book on this called, this is my new book, Everybody Needs a Coach in Life. And thank God this was a bestseller for me. It only took me 12 books to figure out how to write a bestseller, but I kept going. You with me? So my new one's Everybody Needs a Coach in Life. But this one, I wrote this little one called $1 Million Follow-Up. And let me tell you why. When you see how much money you could be losing in the follow-up, it's going to motivate you to get better at this. Everybody with me? Because a person is more motivated by what they will lose than what they will gain. And this is why when you're trying to sell a person something, there's 2 things that'll get a person to take action. It's exclusive and it's scarce. So I teach all of my agents I'm coaching to make it scarce and exclusive. I found the house you want at the price point you want in the subdivision you want. But if you wait one more day, you're going to lose it. If you have to sleep on this decision one more night, you're not going to sleep in it tomorrow. You follow me? I didn't get you 100% of what you wanted, but I got you 80%. And 80% at the price point you want is pretty good. But you're going to lose it if you don't take action. Everybody with me? Yeah. People are not motivated by what they gain, but what they lose. So I'm going to show you how much money you're losing in the follow-up. Now I'm going to give you some stats. And this is critical. And I'm going to see if you know any of these. 9%. This is the percentage of people that say they remember the name of their real estate agent after the transaction. Less than 9% of people say they remember the name of the real estate agent that represented them. That's not a good stat for the industry, yes or no? No. So here's the deal. I want you to understand this. The National Association of Realtors tells us that every transaction you do should be worth 5.7 referrals.
I should be much busier. Yeah. Exactly.
Here's the problem. There's no way for me to remember you if I don't remember your name. There's no way for me to refer you. Referability is when great people tell other great people how great you were. And if you are so, I don't even know if non-impactful is a word, but I'm going to use it, okay? Because I'm from Tennessee and y'all from Alabama. So can we use that? Okay? Non-impactful, okay? If you are that less impactful in a person's life that they don't even remember your name, there's no chance in the world they're going to refer you. Everybody with me? Okay? Now, here's another stat for you. Okay, so 9% of people remember the name, 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the customer. Here's the one that really drives me crazy. Stats tell us that 98% of agents never call a customer back once they put them in a home. Okay, I like that song. You can play it. Everybody with me? Less than 98% of agents never call, 98% of agents never call a person back once they put them in a home. Now, why is this a big deal? Does this have to do with follow-up, yes or no? Yes. I'm telling you, you should see every person at 6 commissions. Okay, but that's not going to happen. Now, here's another stat for you. 67% of people in real estate use the very first person that contacts them. They don't use the best one. They don't use the most experienced one. They don't use the best looking one. They use the which one? First one. This is why speed is important. Now, when you're following up with a person during the week and you're busy, okay, I've spoken 3 times a day in 3 different cities. I left Tennessee this morning at 7 o'clock. If you try to sell me something right in the middle of the day, you're pitching your services to what's called my croc brain. And my croc brain is the front part of my brain that loves to ignore things. If it's not urgent, if it's not an emergency, here's what I do. What you're trying to sell is to my neocortex, which is the part of my brain that makes big decisions. This is why people buy real estate on the weekends. Because on the weekends, I have a chance to process and think through what it is you try to sell me through the week. So if you don't follow up with me like you should, you may have hit me on Thursday and I'm busy and I got 10 things going on. But on Saturday, when I had a chance to relax and think through, I do decide I want that house. I do decide I want to work with you. But guess what? You haven't followed up with me. And because you haven't followed up with me, I've moved on to somebody else. Let's say I have a meeting with you. It's a great meeting. We got great business chemistry. I like what you're saying. I want what it is you got. But when I leave you, I go have a meeting with you. And then I leave you and have a meeting with you. And then I leave you and have a meeting with you. What happens to that first initial meeting? And it wasn't because she wasn't good. It was because I'm just moving so fast. So when you don't follow up with me like you should, it's not that I don't want what you got. It's not that I don't want the house. I'm just trying to figure it out. And I need you to keep coming back at me to help me figure that out. Because my neocortex is now thinking, man, I do want that house. How do I justify it? How do I pay for it? So here's the stat. 67% of people use the first one. Okay, it takes 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to convert a prospect to a buyer. Everybody see that?
That's why we don't do it.
That's exactly right. Don't tell me that. It's too much work. Right? Now, hold on. Buckle down with me now, all right? Don't make me run you a few laps around the parking lot, okay? Average person's going to buy 4 to 6 houses over the course of their lifetime. So the reason I'm going to go the distance with you is because you were interested in it and I was interested in you, but there's a lot going on. Here's the deal. Every deal I go into, here's what I want. I want these 5.7 referrals, and I want to represent you on all 4 to 6 houses you buy. So the very first house I bought was a $119,000 condo. I didn't have any money. I was a new basketball coach. I lived in a crappy apartment, and then I had a problem. Never forget this. Money only changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve it. Everybody with me? So I'm living in this apartment. Now I'm a new professional. I got to get up every morning to go to work. I'm living in this crappy apartment. But here's my problem. I got somebody that's up above me in this apartment complex, and they are running a business, and it happens late at night, and there's lots of music. Now you do the math on I know what it is. I don't know what's going on. But here's the deal. Okay? Here's the deal. Y'all are just now getting that, aren't you? I don't know if polls were involved, but I think they were. Okay? But now I got a problem, right? So what do I say? Man, I got to go buy a house, because that's what professionals do. I did what the stats tell me. I went and used which person? The very first person that contacted me. And he found my little $119,000 condo. And we bought that house, and I was so happy until I said, you know what? Now I'm a little successful. Now I don't want this little condo. Now I got a new problem. I need a bigger house. Because that's what you do, right or wrong? That first guy should have gotten a second deal and third deal and fourth deal, but here's what he did. He never called me back. He sent me emails, automated emails, that look like this. Would you like to know the absorption rate of your subdivision? You think a 23-year-old knows what absorption rate is in a subdivision? Here's the one I really like. He sent me a pumpkin every Halloween. And I'm like, pick up the phone and call me and get to know me. Come to one of my basketball games. Support me. Because here's what I did. I have bought 4 houses since then. And every one has been bigger. My last house was $1 million. It appraised at $1,037,000. What if he had represented me on every house? See how much commission? But here's the deal. Now I got a good agent now. But here's the deal. The more sophisticated the buyer becomes. See, when I first started, I was unsophisticated. The more sophisticated a person becomes, which is typically tied to their knowledge, the money they're making, then they quit using the first one, and what do they start asking?
Who's the best?
Who's the best one? So now I use an agent I talk to every day. He takes me to breakfast every Saturday morning. He handles every bit of my real estate. I buy short-term, long-term, commercial, and he represents me on all of it. So he's getting all of that. Plus he's getting all of my referrals. Plus he's representing me on all my deals. See that? He stays in my life. The first guy did exactly what the stats said. He never followed up with me. And that's a shame. Okay? So how many people, if I stopped right here and said, that's it, I'm out of here, how many people would do a better job following up after what I've said? Right, Jason Lee, right? And you're not going to find a person better in the business than Jason Lee. I'm just going to tell you. I work with everybody who's the top of their game, all of them. He's right. I've coached the top 5 producers at First Bank. Okay? He's as good as anybody in the company. So you just got to know that. And if he don't follow up with you, there's something bad wrong, right? So you're going to follow up, aren't you? Don't make me look bad, brother, okay? Don't hurt my cred. Don't hurt my street cred. So the reason I show these stats is very important because you are losing a lot of money in the follow-up. And right now there's 256 million people that are online on the internet. Right now as we speak, half of those people are looking at real estate deals. That means 125 million people right now are online looking at real estate. So when I sold my last house, we had it listed at $579, and it was on the market, and people were buying the lead. So I went on and I inquired about my own house. to see how they would follow up with me. Not my agent, not the listing agent, but people representing the buying side. So I log in, I'm looking at the house. At that time, there was only 5 houses in my neighborhood, in my town, okay, that were between 5 and 600,000. Only 5. So I'm inquiring about one of those houses. I got one email, and the email said, would you like to know more about the subdivision? I never got a phone call. They never called and said, are you interested? Can we show you the property? Does that make sense? And I was testing to see, will they follow up with me? I'm indicating interest, right? So when a person comes in as a lead, the worst thing you can do is assume it's not a good lead. Everybody follow me? Guys, the largest speaking engagement I ever signed was what I thought one of the most bogus leads in the world. It came in, and a guy said he had met me in Riviera Maya, Mexico 4 years ago. He was from South Africa, and he said, we want you to speak at this big event. And I go, I didn't meet him in Mexico. I mean, this is crazy. He sent us a picture of me hugging him. He's like, I met you in Mexico, okay? Too many margaritas, right? Edit that out, Jack, edit that out. But my point was, he did meet me. And he did run a company. And he was from South Africa. And he flew from Austin, Texas to meet me. He showed up in my office one day, and I'm thinking, man, this ain't a real lead. And he said, I got a big conference of 700 people. We want you to be the main speaker, and we're ready to book it. Here's my card. And you know what? I thought, this can't be true. And this is a mistake a lot of agents make. This is not a good lead. You don't know until what? You explore that lead. So one of the biggest places people do is they don't follow up like they should, okay? So I'm going to show you some areas that we got to get into as it relates to some problems that most agents have, okay? Here are 4 big missing structures that I see most real estate agents have. Okay? Number 1, we're not going to spend much time on this one, is they do not have a great explanation of services. Therefore, they're caught in a commodity trap. And what I mean by that is, if I were coming to this area, I would most likely interview 3 agents. So here's how this would look. I'm coming to this area. I would like to buy some real estate. I'm going to ask this question, who's the best? They're most likely going to say there's 3 people. And I'm going to ask it very specific. Who's the best negotiator? Who has a deeper network than anybody else? Who can find this property for me faster than anybody can? It's going to be very specific. Everybody with me? And they're going to say, well, this one agent at Keller Williams is absolutely the best. Top negotiator. Who can negotiate the most money for me? Who can get me the best deal? Okay, and I'm looking for a pit bull, not a poodle. You with me? That's how people sum up their agents. That's your job, negotiating on my behalf, right or wrong? Right. So I need you to have confidence. I need you to have strength. I don't need you to be weak. I don't need you to project to me that you're weak, right? I need you to go, I need to send you into battle and protect my lettuce, okay? So for you, what you got to understand is the first thing is when I interview you, it's going to give you a chance to explain your services, right? Here's my belief. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So if I were doing a listing presentation, I would lead with what I believe, not what I'm going to do for you. Here's what that would look like. I believe that every person deserves the right to have a professional real estate agent represent them. I believe there's a difference between a house and a home. One is made up of sticks and bricks, and one is made up of memories. I believe every person deserves the right to have an oasis they come home to after the stress of life. Now, when I say that, I'm looking at your body language. And if you're giving me this right here, what do you believe? Same thing. Now, if you and I have agreement right out of the gate, how much easier it is for me to sell you something. When I said, I believe everybody needs a coach in life, how many of you have ever had a good coach? When you raised your hands, I knew that you and I already believe the same things. If you looked at me like, you're already skeptical of me. So I tell people, I know in the first 15 seconds if I have a legitimate prospect. Would you rather know in 15 seconds or chase somebody for 15 months? So I sit down with a prospect and I say, let me tell you what I believe. I believe this. If I was a real estate agent, I'd lead with what I believe. At Keller Williams, here's what we believe. And I would say this, because of that belief, let me tell you what it is we do. There's 3 things we do for our clients. Negotiate, right? Regulate emotion. Get more eyeballs on your property, whatever yours are. Okay? My particular agent that represents me is great at regulating emotion. So he says this is going to get emotional because it's dealing with your money and your house. My job is to regulate your emotion. Too many agents get emotional. Your job is to regulate my emotion. And you can't do that if you're a basket case. You understand what I'm saying? We follow me? Okay, don't point at anybody, okay? Right there. Nut job. Yeah, but here's what I'm saying. Here's my point. You can't regulate my emotion if you get emotional. So my guy says, look, I'm going to regulate your emotion. I'm going to stay steady. That's why you're paying me. I'm going to get more eyeballs on your property, because here's how I'm going to market your properties. Here's the difference I'm going to do, right? And I'm going to negotiate more money on your behalf. And here's what my guy said that I thought was genius, because I was listening to him negotiate my house. We knew we were going to get multiple offers on the house. We knew we were trying to get above asking for the price on the house. So he said this, genius. He said, look, I know we're going to get multiple offers on this house. And somebody always gets their feelings hurt when we have multiple offers. And I would like to avoid that, because I don't like getting anybody's feelings hurt. So if your buyer wants this house, you need to tell them to bring the best offer they can. And they offered above asking for my house, because that's how bad they wanted it. You with me? Notice how he set the stage there. He's doing the negotiating. He's saying, let me take control of this. We're going to get multiple offers, and you're going to get your feelings hurt if you don't get it, and I want to avoid that. You got a person that wants it, tell them to bring their best offer, and let's put it together, right? People are more motivated by what they what? Lose versus what they're going to gain. You want it, you better get it right now, but you're not going to get it at this price, okay? So the first thing people do is they do a poor job of explaining their services. And you guys sell over the phone a lot, you sell in person. So we actually teach people a framework on how to explain their services. We always lead with what we believe. And if you don't believe the same things I do, guess what? It's okay. 7 billion people on the planet. Some will, some won't. So what? Where you get yourself in trouble is when you begin doing business with people that don't believe the same things you do. If a person ever asks you to negotiate down your fees, here's what you need to say. Boy, do you want somebody negotiating on your behalf that would negotiate down their own commission? I don't feel good about that. And I need to feel good about this too. You follow me here? And people are going to try to do that with you. So you got to be strong enough to say that. The second thing we teach is no consistent customer generation system. So there's random and sporadic production. So when you don't have a system to go out and acquire customers, here's what happens. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. I teach strategies to where you're working those all the time. I don't care how many deals you're doing right now. Here's my belief. There comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. Championships are always won in off season. Spoken like an old coach, right? So when I see agents that are crushing it right now, and I'm like, are you working your selling system? Okay, well, I'm so busy. I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy right now. No. You got to replace that word. You're not busy, you're dynamic. You're not overwhelmed, you're never at capacity. You see the change of words there? When I hear people say they're busy, it's a very low frequency word. Okay? In 08, people were overwhelmed because we ain't got any money. So don't tell me you're overwhelmed by all the business that you got today. You want me to feel sorry for you? Let me show you a different type of overwhelm. You understand what I'm saying? So my point to you is just remember, when you're not working a consistent system, then what happens is your production's up and down, and the winter's going to come, and you're not going to be ready for it. And you're going to say, man, what did I do? Okay, we always reap what we sow more than we sowed it for longer than it was sown.
Oh, Lord, I knew that.
Okay, that's exactly right. Charles Stanley said that. Now, here's the third thing that we're going to unpack today. No discipline, 7-touch follow-up. Okay, why are we going 7 touches? 80% of the time. How many people are only going 2 or 3 touches right now and giving up? Right? All progress starts by telling the truth. Here's what I would tell you. It ain't going to do you any good to lie to me about this. I tell my customers, it ain't going to be any good to lie to me about this. It ain't my money, it's yours. So I'm going to go 7 touches. Okay? So what's happened is there's large amounts of money left on the table. And then the fourth big missing structure is no engaged customer experience, which means you're not getting the 5.7 referrals you should be getting out of your current customer base. Now, I want you to stop right here, and I want you to tell the person beside you, in your business right now, which one of these is your biggest problem? Because these 4 problems, and if you say all 4, see me on the break, okay? See me on the break, because we got a little coaching, okay? Just say, hey, here's my number 1 problem. He's right, I'm not following up like I should. Or he's right, I'm not getting a customer, I'm not getting seven referrals. Or I don't have anything valuable to say. Okay? Or I don't have a selling system. So take a minute right now and tell the person beside you, this is my number one problem. Take off. I've been trying to coach you for 3 years.
So are you asking about new leads or just our database?
Just your whole deal. Right?
One is really.
Okay. Good. We can solve that easy.
I can do the rest.
Yeah.
1 and 2 is Was that the only way that told the truth?
Probably. Probably. How much are these seats back here? Are these skybox seats?
These are the skybox.
That's what I'm saying. Skybox seats back here. What's that? What's that?
A birthday card, is that an engage or a passive touch?
It's a passive. Yep. I will. All right. Here's a point. This question came up. When it comes to this trying to get these 5.7 referrals, here's what I would tell you. No automation will ever be enough for you to drive a referral. So if you're sending automated drips, it ain't good enough. Here's the deal. Buyer's remorse kicks in when a person buys a house, and Jason can tell you this, in the first 30 seconds after signing the mortgage papers.
30 seconds.
Okay? That's true. So the best agents, after the closing, pick up that phone and call that buyer and say, hey, such a beautiful house. You're going to be so happy in this house. Because buyer's remorse does kick in very quickly. Can I afford the payment? What have I got myself into? Can we really do this? I would always call every one of my clients 2 days after. I'd call them 2 weeks after. I'd call them 2 months after. And then I would call them a minimum of once a quarter. But I wouldn't just call them. I would try to find some way to engage or embed myself in their life. I've got one agent in North Carolina who's doing about 93 transactions a year. I called him one day and I'm like, what are you doing for your past customers? It was October. He said, I'm going to every past customer's house and I'm helping make sure their houses are winterized. So how do you do that? Make sure all the water's off? That's what he was doing. His referral rate is ridiculous because no other agents are doing that. See how simple that was? When I use a moving company, I used a moving company once, and at the end, the owner of the moving company said, I need to bring you something in person. I'm like, man, I'm really busy. I'm traveling. Can't, he's like, no, I really got to bring it in person. My wife and I made a special gift for you. And I said, meet me in the Sam's parking lot. It felt like a drug deal or something, okay? and he meets me in the Sam's parking lot, and he's got a baked pecan pie. And he said, we do this for every one of our customers, okay? My wife never even knew we got one because I ate the whole thing. Don't even tell her. I took it to my office and ate the whole thing. But my point was, every time I move after that, I cannot get out of my mind that person brought me that. So when people call and say, I'm looking for a moving company, I say, I got one person you need to call, and you get a baked pie when this is over. Because no other moving company does that. See how easy that was? You got to find some way to embed yourself in the life of your customers because there's a little piece of real estate in the back of people's minds, and they only have room for 1 or 2 agents. There's a little piece of real estate. See, I don't think about real estate all day, every day like you do. I think about it when I want to buy it or sell it. You think about it every day. So when I think about it, that little piece of real estate goes, there's one agent I call because that agent stays in my life the most. So the follow-up is so critical. So you got to remember, you're losing 6 commissions off every deal. Some people can send you more than 6 commissions if you will just stay in their life. Quit selling so much out the windshield. Start selling some in the rearview mirror, okay? And so how many people say number 1 was their problem? Okay, right here. And this one will get you. This one's very, a lot of people overestimate or underestimate this one. Not having something valuable to say when you are talking to people in a way that compels them towards you. And so when I'm following up people, I say, hey, you and I believe the same things. I told you what it is we do. I even told you how we do it different than everybody else. I've showed you everybody I'm doing it for. Have you seen enough to make a decision? Are you ready to take action? Because I think we're losing momentum here. Remember, we're always motivated more by what we lose than what we gain. You follow me? So I'll say to you, look, we've talked. We've been trying to move that ball down the field, but man, we're losing momentum. And that is just energy in the wrong direction here. Okay, so I use this back when I'm following up too. How many people had number 2? You don't have a selling system. So here's what's happening. You're not getting enough leads. And because you're not getting enough leads, you don't have enough opportunity to close enough deal. I teach my agents about 10 strategies, and what they're doing is like pulling levers. I don't know which ones are going to work, because what could work for you may not work for you. It's very personality based, right? So some people are great one-to-one, some people are great on the phone, some people are great here. So what I'm doing is giving you enough strategy to drive up the probability of getting more leads and closing more deals. That's what a selling system is. It's not like just a database. Database is one strategy amongst other strategies. Everybody follow me here? How many people have number 3? What we're talking about today, $1 million follow-up. Good. You're going to get your money's worth, okay? What about number 4? You're not getting the 5.7 referrals that you should. So here's what I would ask you. I keep every one of my customers on my phone in a Google document. So you guys that are spending a lot of money on very expensive CRM systems, I use a Google document. And in that Google document, it's in the notes of my phone. Every one of the people on my team can see it. I just wanted to show it to you. Subdivided customer list. I click on it, and it shows you every single one of my customers. I have about 350 right now. Okay, and they're paying everywhere from monthly fees of $3.99 a month, online $49 a month, all the way up to companies paying me $10,000 a month to coach them. If you look at this, they're color-coded. So I've got white, yellow, green. Yellow, I'm concerned about. So there's something not right about that relationship. So I put every relationship in the foyer, in the living room, or in the kitchen. Foyer superficial, they're not referring us. We have not helped them enough for them to refer us. You follow me? Living room is they're comfortable with us, but they're still not referring us. Kitchen is they're on fire for us. And somebody asked me today when we move into the bedroom. Not in this talk, okay? That's for another talk. That one will be at 9 o'clock tonight, okay? Now, now, here's my point. The green, because this is very critical. The green are my top 25 customers. So out of 350, I have carved out 25 that I believe have the most referral capacity. Okay? These people in green that every one of my people can see get extra attention, more access to me, private events, things at my house. We go to dinner together. We go to the lake together. We go to sport, because I'm banking on those 25 people sending me 75 referrals. Those 25. So I don't care if you got 100 customers or 5 customers. You need to carve out who are your biggest customers and your greatest referral sources. Listen, all relationships in selling are not equal. Can we agree on that? Some people have no referral capacity. Some people have lots of referral capacity. So my particular real estate agent has probably sent me 10 to 15 referrals every year. That's a lot of referrals. Okay? So I don't mind him making a bunch of money off of me on my real estate deals, because look at how much money he's bringing me. My insurance guy's doing the same thing. My title guy's doing the same thing. Follow me? So when you're thinking about this, I'm trying to build vested partnerships with people where I'm feeding them and they're feeding me. Okay? It's not one-sided relationship, it's vested partners. Okay? So how many people can take something from that right there? Okay? Those people deserve more time and attention. Give them more time and attention. Okay? Now, let's look at this follow-up. Because here's the sales cycle. This is the sales cycle right here. I don't start off with prospects, I start off with suspects. And let me tell you why. I don't know if this is going to be a good partnership between me and you or not until you and I talk. Okay? When I talk to you, I may find out that you're cray-cray, okay? And I don't want to do business with you. So, yeah, there is an online personality profile for that. So here's the deal. I go out every week and I try to get new people in my pipeline. That's why I'm in Alabama today. That's why I'm doing events here. That's why I do the Facebook Live. That's why I go on television to do what I do. That's why I do the podcast. Because I'm trying to feed that pipeline. Everybody with me? The people that line up with me will become leads, but I don't know if they're a good fit or not. So they come in the door, we have a conversation, and I do what? I explain my services. Here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. If you believe it too, let's go to the next round, right? We're a good fit for each other, okay? Then they become a prospect. From here to here, or even from here to here, could take 7 to 15 touches. And remember why. When I met you, I was interested in you and you were interested in me. You thought I could be an asset to you and I thought you could be an asset to me. So we want to do business together, right? But there's something going on. There's something going on I don't know about. For me, you're in another coaching program. There's something going on. You got to think about it. You need to meditate on it. You need to medicate about it. You need to pray about it, right? I'm Baptist. Let's pray right now and go, all right? So that's what's happening. Y'all hear the same things, right? Let me think about it. Let me talk to my husband about it. Let me sleep on it. Let me do this. Well, what's happening is I'm interested, but between here and there is a lot of room for you to lose my attention. Person wants to buy a house on a Saturday night because the neocortex of the brain is involved. Now they're thinking about it. Now they're trying to justify it. You can't sell them that on a Tuesday morning right in the middle of them trying to get their kids to school and worried about work and solving problems. You with me? You may hit them on a Tuesday morning, but you may not sell them on a Tuesday morning, so you got to come back. And so right here is where these 7 to 15 touches happen. Now, here's what a lot of people do, okay? Here's the purpose of the follow-up. The purpose of the follow-up is to rekindle the initial attraction that we had. Like I had a conversation with you and I liked what I heard, right? But I got a lot going on that you don't even know about. So I left that conversation and I got busy or sidetracked. So your job of the follow-up is to take me back to where? Remember when you and I were sitting in that coffee shop and you told me that you were sick and tired of having a bed, a bathroom that was too small, and right? Remember when you told me that? I listened to it. I went and found exactly what you wanted at the price point you wanted and the subdivision you wanted. Are you ready to take action? Right? If you don't take action on this, you could lose it. Scarcity and exclusivity sell things. It's scarce and it's exclusive. You with me? It's scarce. I'll tell some people, I'll give you this rate today, but if I walk out those doors, it's full price, baby. If you want it, you better take advantage of it right now. Okay? Make it scarce. Okay? So at this point, the purpose is to articulate what? Money changes hands when problems are solved. So when you're going back to a person, here is how not to follow up. Do you have any questions? This is how people follow up. I wrote that book because this is how people followed up with me. Hey, do you have any questions? What can I say? No, I don't. Are you ready to go? No, I'm not. I had this one say to me once, I woke up this morning thinking about you. What'd I say? Creepy. That's real creepy, okay? Did you dream about me too? You understand what I'm saying? Right? But that's how people follow up. Yes or no? Yes. I looked at a property that I was going to turn into a business in Tennessee. It was $950,000. I was going to turn it into kind of a fraternity house for older people. Okay? But here's the deal. It was a 9-bedroom house, 10-bedroom house. And my mom is in that industry of serving the elderly community. And I took my mom over there and I said, can we turn this into a fraternity house for old people? Right? Because they want to hang out with each other, right? But they don't want to be in a nursing home or they don't want to be there. Could we do this? And it had stairs. So she's like, they can't get up and down the stairs. But if it was one level, it could be a great idea, right? And here's the deal. The agent followed up with me one time on that. And here's what he said. He said, Coach, he followed up 4 days after. Number one, it's a mistake because now I've already moved on to something else. And he said this, Coach, I'm just doing my due diligence. No, I'm doing my due diligence. You ought to be telling me, right? What he should be doing is overcome the objection. What he should have said, I know one of your objections, Coach, was that it had staircase in there. So what I've done is I found out exactly how much it would cost to put an elevator in the house. It's only $55,000 more. I think I can get the price point down. I think you could do it. I've looked at other people that are doing it in other parts of the country. I think this house would be perfect for you. He didn't do any of that. He didn't understand the purpose of the follow-up. No matter how many objections people have, they've typically only got one real objection. And when I push a person, what I'm trying to find out is, what's your real objection? Well, my real objection was the staircase. All he had to do is say, we can put an elevator in for $55,000 more, and you could do this, right? Yeah. But he never did it, so I moved on. Didn't do that idea. So what I do is I challenge the prospect. Now, we live in the South, and we're taught to be relationship builders. And that's a problem when we're selling, because relationship builders typically supplicate to the person with the money. And what that means is they put themselves in an inferior position. Okay? So a relationship builder would say this, I know you're really busy. If I can just get a few minutes of your time, right? I don't want to inconvenience you. You've already put yourself in a weak position. You do realize the negotiating starts the minute you meet a person. Right. If you make a bad first impression, it takes 21 positive interactions to overcome the first negative one. So the minute you meet a person, you're negotiating with them. The worst negotiation to be in the world is when you don't even know you're in one. You better believe if I came down here to buy real estate, I would be negotiating from the second I meet you. You with me? Mm-hmm. And when you start meeting people who buy and sell a lot of real estate, the minute you meet them, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Can you handle this or not? Are you a poodle or a pit bull? Will you negotiate? Will you have my back or not? Are you weak or are you strong? Well, that first impression indicates that. Okay? So when you're going in, you're negotiating from the very beginning. So don't ever let your guard down when you go in, right? Well, the challenger challenges the prospect. Okay? Like I went to New Jersey once a month and coached the largest bank in New Jersey. There's a couple things I figured out. Number one, people in New Jersey wake up pissed off. That's the first thing I figured out. It's just the truth. And I understand. Okay? But I would watch how they sell. And they were so direct. They would say, look, by the end of this meeting, you're not going to be doing business with each other. That's just it. That's all there is to it. And I found that they're a little too hardcore and we're too soft. Somewhere in the middle is a nice blend. So the challenge, number one, I think selling should be fun. I don't think it should be so stressful. I think we should have fun with prospects. So I'll challenge a person, and challenge means I just push you a little bit. Hey, you told me exactly what you wanted, and I went and got it for you. Right? And it's as close to the price point you wanted and the payment you wanted, and it's in the subdivision you wanted. Have you seen enough to take action? Right? Mm-hmm. What is stopping you from taking action? And when they object, give me some of the objections you're hearing today. Go ahead. I don't have enough time. I don't have time. I'm too busy. Not right now. The timing's not right. I want to see everything on the market. Whew.
Yours too small, yours too big.
Here's the deal. You're going to hear these are very low-level objections. The professional salesperson would say this. You're going to learn something about timing. Timing is never right to do anything. Mm-hmm. I always say this. If the timing had to been right before I quit coaching to retire, I'd still be coaching today. Because my school that I left won 6 championships after I left. 6. The timing wasn't right for me to leave. I had to create the timing. I would still be there coaching. So every time you give me something like, let me hold off 6 months, here's what I say. A lot can go wrong in 6 months. Mm-hmm. We're losing the power of momentum. Let me think about it. What specifically do you need to think about? Let me talk to my husband about it. Why don't we all get together and talk about it together? So when you give me those very low-level objections, I challenge you. Now, the number one reason people don't challenge people is what? I'm afraid I'm going to lose them. Let me let you out of jail on this one. You can't lose something you don't already have. So if I push you, here's what I say. You call me and you're interested. I say, the reason you call me is because I'm an expert. Do you want me to tell you what you want to hear? Or you want me to tell you the truth? Right? That's why you call me. Okay? So let me help you do what you told me you wanted me to do, which is find this property or sell this property for you. Okay? And let me give you all the variables that are going into this right now. Okay? I'm an expert. That's why you came to me. When you give that control up to them, they're going to dominate you. And you got to get that control back. The challenger takes control of the sale. You see what I'm saying? Jason is a challenger. And let me tell you why that's good. All of our top producers at First Bank are challengers. And you know what that means? When you give them that loan, they take control of it. They don't say, hey, just get these files in whenever you want to. Just send them, hey, don't matter to me. This is what some of our bad LOs do. Hey, just, whenever it's convenient with you. The good ones say, if you want to close on this house, on that date, you got to get me this stuff by 2 o'clock this afternoon. See how they're taking control? Because they're experts. So I see too many real estate agents let the consumer drive this. So when you follow up, okay, let's think about what 7 good touches would be. Okay? Let me give you some touches here. So number one, once I do get your attention, we have a great meeting. The very first thing I want you to do is summarize that meeting back to them. Send an email because people move fast. Okay? Michelle, you and I met. There's 2 things you said you wanted. There's 3 actions I'm going to take for you. I'm already off to the races, girl. right? I think I can have this put together in less than a few days. What I'm doing is kind of holding you accountable. Michelle, remember you telling me what you wanted? So I typically summarize the meeting right after the meeting because that's the highest point of energy. Then I may follow up with something else. Text message. One of the biggest things I'm using now is video. Every person in this room can do this. So you can cut videos on your phone, and I go right back with a 2-minute video. Hey, remember he was talking about this, right? And what I'm trying to do is capture that energy. The closest thing, I can't get that through an email. I can't get it through a text message. So I'll send a little video back to them and going, hey, thinking about you. I'm working on your behalf right now. Today I'm looking at these properties of what you told me you wanted. Should have everything wrapped up in the next few days. So my third touch is typically a video back to them. My fourth touch is I'm trying to get them back face to face because that's where the magic happens. Right or wrong? Right. Let's say I can't get them back to back. Fifth, I call on one of my best customers and I say, will you call them? Will you call them and talk to them? Because I think if they hear from you and what kind of success we've had together, that'll get them to take action. Right? 6, maybe a phone call, text message, anything, right? A 6 touch, something, and I'll say association. So let's say I'm selling a property for a person and there's some type of association that last person. I'll say, hey, I just found a property for another person that made me think about you, right? And they're very close. I love working with them. I'd love working with you. Now, when you go 7 touches and they're challenging that prospect, then I say this. Have you noticed how hard I have worked to earn your business? Has anybody else in the real estate profession worked this hard? And I know the answer to that. What are they going to say? No. No. Then what's stopping you from taking action? Have you seen enough to make a decision? Right? What's your real objection? And I say, I love you, but there's 7 billion people on the planet. And I can't, right? Hey, it's not time for you to leave yet, girl.
I'm sorry. I wish I didn't have to.
I'm just kidding with you. I wish. There's objection right there. Okay? Here's what I'd say back to her. You're going to wish you didn't leave. Right? Here's the deal. When you hear objection, you got to be ready to overcome it. Right or wrong? So when I get to that 7th touch, I say, man, I love working with you. I would love working with you. But for some reason, we can't get this together. And we put a lot of time and energy into this. And we want to help you. But there's 7 billion people on the planet, right? Some will, some won't. So what? I'll move on to somebody else. Last week, a USA Today report came out and said there are 9 other planets that support life. That means there's 9 other planets to sell something to. Right? Yes or no?
You say so.
Yeah. So on these 7 touches, okay, I still drip on these people. I may call them once a month. I may text message them. I may send them a video. You'd be shocked how many times I go and they don't even respond. And then one day out of the blue, I get a text message saying, I'm ready to go. I've been getting your messages. Thank you for following up with me. So I teach my team to say this. We're going to be professional, but we're not going to be pushy. Is it okay if we be professional in our follow-up with you? And they're going to say, absolutely. And that means we believe we got to go the distance with you to get you what you want. Okay? It's not going to happen one time. I hope it does, but if it doesn't, we're going to get in the boat with you and we're going to move this ball down the field because I'm just not interested in you. I'm interested in the other opportunities. Every day with our current customer is what? An interview for our next customer. Now let me close with this. When I deal with a customer, you say, how do you ask for referrals? Here's how I ask for referrals. Throughout the course of the day, a lot of your customers are going to call in with questions. Can you help me with this? Do you know this? I always end those conversations by asking this, was this valuable for you? So I'll answer their question, which I gave them my time. We didn't charge them for that time, any more money than what we're making, right? And I say, was this helpful to you? And they say, yes, it was. And I say, I only need you to do one thing for me. I love working with you, and I believe that like-minded people gravitate toward other like-minded people. If this has been valuable for you, will you introduce me to 2 or 3 other people we can help? And they almost always give me at least one. And I'll say, will you make that phone call for me? If we could help them like we've helped you, would that be valuable? You see how non-invasive that is? It's so much better than saying, hey, you know anybody buying or selling real estate? Right? Yes or no? Because when people ask me that question, I'm like, let me think about it. Right now, I don't know anybody. Of course I know somebody. But if you said it to me like that, Coach, I loved working with you. Okay? And I know you work with other people, right? Like you. Y'all hang out with each other. if I was valuable for you, could you introduce me to those people so I can be valuable for them? And I'm going to say, of course. Let me introduce you to so-and-so. Now, know this. All of your money's not coming direct from the consumer. You need to be thinking about this. I believe you're just one person away from a new season in your life. I heard that at 2 a.m. one night from a televangelist. And he was good. I almost gave some money. But I believe that. When he said it, I was like, yes. Because I had an agent that through one relationship picked up 73 more transactions one year by picking up one builder. And she taught me a lesson. You ain't got to go get 10 new relationships. Sometimes you just got to get one. And one person could completely change your whole deal. And that person is typically not a direct consumer, although it could be. They're most likely in your network right now. Could be one of your past clients. It could be a strategic partnership. But don't think you got to go out and get everybody. All you got to get is one. And when you get one, see, I live in Nashville, and all these little country music singers come to Nashville to make it big. It only takes one right person to walk in and see them play. And they go from making $41 a night to $41,000 a night playing at Bridgestone Arena, or $410,000 a night. And it's just 100 yards across the street. You with me? So I want to leave you with this. Follow-up is about following up on everything in your life. Following up on your dreams, following up on partnerships that you've neglected, following up on the best customers you got that you ain't paying attention to. It's about following up on actions you said you were going to take this year. It's not just about following up on customers. The fortune really is in the follow-up. You with me? So here's what I'd like to close this with. We're going to give away some prizes. Don't you guys like that? Oh, yeah. And we're giving away a couple $100, right? Or is it a couple thousand? I couldn't remember what you said. Okay, a couple hundred. You got to stay in the room, so she already disqualified herself. See, she's going to wait, right? I'm going to give away a book. I'm going to give away a couple books as well, a $1 Million Follow-Up or one of the books. Okay, now here's what I would tell you. I'm bringing a lot of my coaching. I think this is one of the hardest places in the country. I think here in Huntsville. So we are really, really looking at how we can bring my coaching to this area. I believe in live coaching a lot. Okay, a lot of coaches do it over the phone. They do it online, and we do have all that. But I've targeted certain markets that I want to go back month after month, and I'm going to get these people in a room, and I'm going to coach them. The average person with me is growing their business 43% in the first year. That's what my agents are doing. I'm taking some agents from 30 deals to 100 deals. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're making a lot of money.
How do we sign up?
Okay, we're going to show you how to sign up. But we're looking at this at Alabama, okay? And a few years ago when I was down here, I wasn't ready. I didn't have the big programs I have today. I wasn't ready to bring it down here like I am today, okay? And so if you're interested in any of those things, just make sure you see us while you're here. If you're not, I do send out a weekly email that's free. And that email brings you my podcast, my videos. It's my way of following up with you, just staying involved in your life to recapture that energy. So if you're interested in any of those things, make sure my director of expansion is here, Bill Maddox. My whole team is here, videographer. I even had a customer travel from, Katie, how far did you travel to ride with me today?
From Illinois.
From Illinois. She drove all the way from Illinois just to get on the bus and ride with me today. And that's one thing I try to do with some of my best customers is I say, hey, just get on the bus and go with us. And you're going to learn some things during the day of how we go out and talk to people, of how we have conversations on the way, but you got to give it to her. A girl that drive all the way from Illinois to get some coaching serious about her business. You know what I'm talking about? So thank you for that. So Jason, we're going to give some stuff away? Yeah. Come on now. I feel like Price is Right. Who's winning something? All the way up. Was that valuable for you, by the way, the coaching? Thank you very much.